So what's it like being here at Sambica?
It's great. I'm able to just fully devote everything to God with limited distractions. You know, I don't have to go to the store every day. I don't really have to worry about what's on the news. I can just think about what's happening right now with the kids and the other staff, and I'm really just able to really focus on God.
Cool. So what's probably your favorite memory here at camp, with counselor, with kids?
Yeah, that's a good question. I remember last summer I had a cabin group that just wasn't getting along, and there were kids that were coming from two totally separate walks of life. We have the kids that get everything and have just money and finances, and then I have the kid that just came off the street and who was homeless and is a part of that cabin. And I got to talk to one of the girls there and just sit down and talk about how despite where you come from, God loves us each individually, and it doesn't matter our wealth, our standing, our family life. He just wants us, and so it was cool to get to be with her to help her recognize that.
What was your hours like? Like, did you stay up late or get up early? Or?
If you were on overnight camp, you usually got to sleep in a little bit, so I enjoyed that. But on day camp, breakfast is at 7:15. You wake up, you get ready to start the day. O camp, I believe breakfast is 8:30. I'm not quite sure. But after that, it's nonstop. You're with those guys all day, and it's great. And usually at the end of the day, I have no trouble sleeping. By 11 o'clock, I am out. And you will get the best sleep of your life at Sambica.
What was a typical day like for day camp?
A typical day would be wake up, go to breakfast at 7:15. We had a little meeting afterwards, and then we'd go to the field, and we'd kind of hang out while the kids were getting dropped off. And then we'd go to the forum, where we are right now, and we'd sing songs, and we'd have some skits or games or something going on. And then we'd go to our activity, and then we'd go to Bible study. And that was my favorite part, because I really was able to dive into the Bible and really show these kids what it means to be a Christian and to be loved by God. And then we'd go to lunch, and then we had 2 other activities, and then we'd have a cabin time or a chill out time where the kids could have good conversation or just relax. And then they would go to the field and they'd get picked up, and that was a normal day.
So what is your favorite memory at camp?
My favorite memory of camp, with a camper, with a staff member, any? Pick one?
Whatever you want.
Okay. My favorite memory of camp. They're hard to pick because there's so many. But probably one Thursday morning after response time in forum, the first camper that I ever met in my life, he came back a second year, and he was in my cabin, and he accepted Christ that day. And his little prayer was, "Dear God, thank you for all the good food that you give us, and thank you for loving us so much." And that right there was like, wow, that's really all we need. God provides, God loves us. Straight from the mouth of a child. Beautiful.
So what is your favorite memory at camp?
My favorite memory was my first summer. I had a camper, and his family was Hindu. And the first week that I had him, during Bible study, he would always ask questions about, or maybe more statements that he would say, well, I believe in Vishnu, and I don't believe in God, and all these things I don't agree with. So I struggled a lot with that, but then he came back at the end of the summer, and he just totally had changed since the first week that I had him. And at the end of that week, he accepted Christ, and it was just really cool. And after that, when he was getting picked up by his parents, he gave me a stuffed animal bee, and that was just, I still have that, and it's just really cool to be able to see how much a kid can change in such short time with just what I've done in their lives and what God has done through me. So just really being able to see how much being a counselor has impacted one kid, while all these kids are being impacted every day by all the staff here. It was really cool.
So if you're a new person coming in, what's something you would give them advice for, or just something along the lines of for new people that are coming?
Yeah, I would give them the advice to be willing to be uncomfortable. Last summer I honestly, coming from the Midwest, a lot of times we find that like loving God and loving Jesus is like a super technical, has to be done a certain way, has to be shared. It's like over information, and God called me to be uncomfortable last summer and just sharing the simple truth of the gospel. And God will use you so much when you are uncomfortable and just willing to surrender everything and just be weak for Him to be strong through you.
All right. Well, thank you, Chelsea. And for the fellow counselors that might be coming in, what would you tell them? Give them advice or anything? Have anything for them?
Be prepared to learn, and it's not going to be what you expect. So I came in with a vision in my head, and God totally changed that vision and said, hey, this is what's going on. And through that, God taught me so many things. Even in times where I was tired, where I was weak, where my mind just wasn't clear, that's when I relied on God a lot more. And He taught me so much through that process. And He taught me by using the children to teach me, even though being a counselor was supposed to teach them. So be prepared to learn. And when you're weak, don't try to do it on your own. Rely on God. Rely on fellowship around you.